Hey guys, it's Will. I thought I'd do another follow-up on NAT, which is it's a shipping company. There was a lot of excitement, back in February. You can see how it spiked up like this, and then it came down, and so people were kind of buying and holding. There's some popular YouTube channels out there. So I was talking at the time after it dropped here, because a lot of times people just buy and I think, well, shipping's going to go up, or oil is going to be needed to be stored somewhere, or if the economy opens, the shipping is going to increase. So, but it's not really based on the charts and looking at what's happening. So at a basic level, there's uptrends and downtrends. And so I did a few videos where, in this area where I was showing that I would just recommend that, or in my case, for myself, that I wouldn't be buying because it's in this downtrend. So one way you can do that is draw a line, like this is TC 2000, from the tops of the candles here. And you can start at different places, and it's not going to be exact, but something like this. Or you could go way up like that, but you see how initially it was quite steep. So trends will change. Initially had this really steep drop off. And so when you break that horizontally, it's not necessarily a time to buy. And then you can draw another one over time. You have to watch and see what's happening, which is a bit flatter like this. And another way to look at this is with the moving averages. So if you have this black line is an 8 exponential moving average. So basically, because the candles are below, they're closing below this 8 EMA, I wouldn't be buying it. This particular one, it opened here. So it gapped up, it opened up here and it went down. So it closed down below. So the close is what you're looking at. And all these are closing. This one here just barely closed above. But you're in this downtrend, so you want to wait. You want to have, you can do different things, but you want to start seeing it heading upwards and opening up above this 8 EMA. So as you can see from this line, or even the 8 EMA, we broke, so we had a close, an open below and a close above. So this would be the first sort of break of that, and this one here as well. But this is a bigger candle and a bit of a gap up here after a doji. So you could be starting to look at this, and you have this break of this downtrend. So this is where I think I talked about this particular couple days here, where a potential reversal. It's fairly risky to try to get on the first reversal because it hasn't really established an uptrend. But some people do want to do that. And of course, even from here to here, this one day, there's an 18%. So it's kind of like potentially a day trading situation. But the first break, is potentially is definitely the riskiest time, because there's a downward momentum to this. And but some people might want to jump on that early. So as you can see, this candle here was quite big as well. And, you might be encouraged to jump in at this point. But one of the ways that an uptrend is confirmed is when you have higher highs and higher lows. So if you come up and then you come back down and then you start to go up again, you sort of established a lower, like a higher low. So you have a low here. I'll just put a line to, you can draw a horizontal line with TC 2000. And so that's kind of the low, somewhere around here. And then down here, you've got another low, a higher low, roughly here. There's a bit of an area here. So you'd want to see it start to go up again and to eventually break through this high, which would give you a higher high. But if you're looking at this chart, once you had this big candle, you kind of wanted to see it starting to go up here. And what you have is a gap down, which is generally not a good thing if you're changing your, your trend to an uptrend. So you'd be watching here, and then you had this big gap down, and it closed below the 8 EMA. So this is a fairly negative sign as well. So the point I'm trying to make is that this is a probabilities game in trading. You might want to try to find something that works perfectly, like candles, signals, or patterns, or indicators that give you a perfect scenario to buy into. But there isn't really such a thing. So you're playing the odds. There was a good chance that this was going to continue to go up. And so, depending on where you bought, like if you bought fairly early in this day after you saw it break through the T line, the 8 EMA, if you bought somewhere around here, you'd have a really good gain. And then if you see, as soon as you see it gap down, you could decide to get out and see what happens. If it comes back down and then starts to go up again, you can buy back in. That's one potential strategy. Yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. The other thing you have obviously here is the 50 moving average, 50-day moving average, which is a bit of a resistance, period. Sometimes you might have trouble getting through that, but sometimes it'll break through the 50 and you want to jump right in, but it comes back down and tests the 50. And this one kind of broke through it again. So it came up through. Sometimes people, I know people that don't buy the first cross of the T line or the 50-day moving average, and they wait for a retest and then it to go back up. So when this came down, it bounced down and it never really supported at the 50-day moving average to go back up again. So if we look at, this is the shipping and ports, industry. TC2000 has this nice feature where you can look at other stocks in that sector or industry. And if we look at this one, EGLE bulk shipping, you can see the difference from NAT to this one. This has a really nice uptrend since May 16th or so. And if we draw a line like this, we're in a really nice uptrend. And as you can see again here, it broke through the 50. So some people will buy right here. I have an arrow. You buy the first break of the 50, but a lot of times it will come back. And you can see how it bounced right off of the 50, like pretty much exactly with that little wick here underneath the candle. And this one as well. So 2 times it did bounce. So they call it a retest of the 50. So I put another arrow here because another option, so some people would buy, see this is the break of the 8 EMA, but you're close to the 50, so you're thinking it might bounce off there, which you kind of did the first time, but then it broke through. And then some people buy with the breakthrough, like a breakout of the 50, and you could have traded that for a few days and made 15%. And then you have this huge down candle, which is like a bullish engulfing of this previous candle, and then a test of the 50. And then once you start to see it go up again, you could, so you've tested that 50 and then you start to have an uptrend. So there you go, you trade up that. It's almost a 50% gain in just a few days. And then you have this like a harami spinning top and then a down. See this gap down from here to here. And then when this closed the next day, it also gapped down. Then you had this huge gap down. So if you didn't get out here, there's multiple gap downs and down candles, and now there's a bit of a rebound, and it is sort of following in this trend line. So if you're trying to buy stocks, a great methodology is to try to buy when it's close to the trend line. So a lot of people will try to buy. They start seeing this going up like this, and they buy up here, and then it generally always, almost always pulls back either to the trend line or to this 8 EMA. So you can sort of see how it did break through the 8 EMA, which might have triggered you to sell if you were looking at that as a buy signal. But this straight trend line works really well too, because you can see how it stayed on that trend line. So I just thought I would share some tips. Obviously, like with TC2000, you can find other stocks in that sector or industry, which is cool. And drawing your lines, and these stay on the charts as well. So you can turn them off. If you click on this checkbox, it turns off all your drawings. And if you have text, you can type things on here and make notes as well. But a really nice feature is when you look at a stock, you can find other ones in that same industry, and you can rank them obviously by their percent change. And if you click on this first one and you hit the space bar, you can just easily start going through each stock. All right, guys, just a short video on NAT and a similar one, EGLE. That might be a better option for you. I'm not really recommending to buy and sell stocks at any particular time, but if you want to get a free trial of TC2000 or $25 off the purchase, I've got the gold membership, and I'm also buying the US real-time data so that I get real-time instead of a 15-minute delay. And there's also a course for trading stocks that you can check out with a discount in the description below. And you need to have a full system of trading, buying, selling, risk management, entries and exits, and using moving averages and all that sort of thing, and indicators. So check those out, and we'll talk to you in the next video.